Supernatural Secrets, where the enigmatic world of the unknown unfolds. Whether you're a returning viewer or new to our channel, get ready to be captivated by ghostly encounters, unsolved mysteries, and the shadows that linger in the night. These stories unlock a realm beyond your wildest imagination, inviting you to find refuge in the darkest corners of your mind. Brace yourself, as the unexplained is about to take hold of your thoughts and senses. In this realm, secrets fester, and the supernatural hungers for your curiosity. Supernatural Secrets is the place where darkness reveals its most sinister magic. Thanks for joining us. Now, prepare to delve into the abyss. The spectral lighthouse of Moonlit Cove. In the quaint, forgotten town of Everbrook, nestled deep in a forested valley, a mystery lay dormant for centuries. It was a place where whispers of the supernatural were met with uneasy glances, and an ancient legend, long buried in time, was about to awaken. Our tale begins with Sarah, a young woman with a penchant for adventure and a fascination with the unexplained. She arrived in Everbrook, drawn by the stories of an ancient, abandoned manor that had haunted the town's history. The townsfolk spoke of eerie occurrences in the vicinity, strange lights in the night, and faint echoes of music that defied explanation. Intrigued, Sarah embarked on her own exploration. Her nights in Everbrook were restless, the echoes of a mournful melody seeping through her windows. The townsfolk believed it was the manor's last resident, a reclusive musician who had died in solitude. Sarah's curiosity drove her to the manor's decaying doorstep. She had heard whispers about the legend of Alicia, the mysterious musician who had composed music that seemed to defy the laws of time. Legends spoke of her tragic love story and the curse she had invoked. As Sarah ventured deeper into the manor, she uncovered Alicia's diary, where the musician's sorrow-filled entries revealed her eternal love for a sailor who had sailed away, never to return. Alicia believed that if she composed a melody powerful enough, it would call her lover back from the depths of the sea. Haunted by Alicia's story, Sarah became determined to uncover the truth behind the legend. She scoured the manor for any remnants of Alicia's music, and there, hidden beneath the floorboards, she found a dusty, ancient music sheet. In the moonlight, Sarah sat at the old, dusty piano, her fingers trembling as they touched the keys. She played the haunting melody she'd found, and as the notes filled the room, an otherworldly presence enveloped her. The room seemed to transcend time as the music took on an ethereal quality. Sarah felt herself transported to a different era, where Alicia and her sailor lover danced in the manor's grand hall. The boundary between the living and the spirits had blurred. With a gasp, Sarah returned to reality, shaken and exhilarated. She was determined to learn more about Alicia and the curse that seemed to linger in the manor's melody. Further research uncovered the tragic conclusion to Alicia's tale. In a final, heart-wrenching entry, she wrote about her lover's tragic end, never to return from the treacherous sea. In her despair, she believed that her music had been a beacon that led him to his demise. Sarah was now caught in a dilemma. She was drawn to the enchanting melody, but she feared that playing it again could lead to more tragedy. Nevertheless, her fascination with Alicia and the manor grew. In a moment of contemplation, Sarah had a realization. The curse was not in the music itself, but in Alicia's lingering regrets and longing. She believed that by uncovering the truth and acknowledging Alicia's undying love, she could help bring peace to the spirits that haunted the manor. Sarah began to delve into Alicia's story, unearthing the sailor's tragic fate, and through a seance, she made contact with the spirits. the sailor's ghost, William, appeared, revealing that he had been lost at sea, but had heard Alicia's melody beckoning him home. The spirits were trapped in a liminal space, their love unresolved and unfulfilled. Sarah was now their only hope for peace. With the assistance of a medium, they performed a ritual that allowed the spirits to say their final goodbyes. As the ritual concluded, the manor seemed to sigh with relief, and the once echoing music faded into the stillness of the night. The spirits of Alicia and William had found closure, and the curse that had bound them for centuries was broken. Everbrook, once a town burdened by a haunting legend, was now free of the supernatural grip that had held it. Alicia and William's love story, though tragic, had finally found resolution, and Sarah, the intrepid explorer who had uncovered their tale, had left her mark in the annals of the town's history. The Haunting of Willow House. Willow House stood in the heart of a desolate village, a decaying relic of a bygone era. The twisted trees that surrounded it cast eerie shadows upon its decaying walls, while the howling wind created ghostly symphonies. For years, the village had kept a grim secret, one that was whispered only in trembling voices, and was written in the fearful gazes of its residents. The tale began with Sarah, a young woman driven by curiosity and a longing for the unknown. She had heard the stories of Willow House, and they had haunted her dreams. Despite the villagers' warnings and her own growing sense of dread, she knew she had to explore the house. Each night, Sarah would hear strange, disembodied voices, faint cries that seemed to be calling her name. The sensation of being watched never left her. As she slept in her room, she would often wake to the feeling of cold, clammy fingers brushing against her skin. Determined to uncover the truth, Sarah began her exploration of the house. She ventured into the dark, dilapidated corridors, where cobwebs clung like funeral drapery. Her footsteps echoed ominously as she reached a room with a locked door, its wood warped and gnarled. As she approached the door, the temperature dropped drastically, and the air grew heavy with a malevolent presence. With trembling hands, she produced a rusted key she'd found earlier. The moment the door creaked open, the room was filled with a cacophony of tormented souls crying out for release. Sarah could feel a presence, something darker and more sinister than the tales of the villagers had ever implied. In the corner of the room, a shadowy figure lurked, and the moment their eyes met, a blood-curdling scream pierced the air. The figure lunged at her, but it was a mere blur, a specter of the tormented souls that dwelled within Willow House. Sarah fled from the room, her heart pounding with fear. It was clear that something malevolent, something that had festered within the house for centuries, was now awakened. Driven by an insatiable desire to uncover the truth, Sarah delved into the history of Willow House. She uncovered a horrifying tale of a family who had once lived there, a family whose dark secrets had driven them to madness and beyond. In her research, she stumbled upon the name Isaac, a name that resonated through generations. Sarah's nightmares grew worse as she delved deeper into the past. She dreamt of a desolate room where a family's darkest secrets were hidden. In her dreams, she saw Isaac, a tormented soul who had been wronged in life and was now seeking vengeance in death. As Sarah ventured into that desolate room, she found an old diary, its pages filled with the rantings of a madman. The diary spoke of rituals, of a cursed amulet, and of Isaac's desire for revenge against those who had wronged him. It was clear that the house was a vessel for Isaac's restless spirit, a spirit that now hungered for Sarah's soul. As she read the diary, the room's temperature dropped, and the walls seemed to close in around her. She heard whispers, faint voices that seemed to seep from the very walls themselves. The voices spoke of torment, of a desire for release, and of the terrible price of disturbing the slumber of the dead. In a fit of desperation, Sarah decided to perform a seance, hoping to make contact with the spirit of Isaac and learn the truth about his curse. The room was plunged into darkness, and the seance began. The table trembled, and Sarah felt a presence, cold and malevolent, creeping closer. Isaac's voice, filled with rage and despair, echoed through the room. He revealed the horrifying truth of his curse, a curse that had bound him to the house for eternity. He had been betrayed and wronged by those he had once called family, and his vengeance had led to a curse that would torment the living. As the seance reached its climax, Sarah made a horrifying discovery. The curse was not limited to Isaac alone. It had spread to all who dared to enter Willow House. The tormented spirits of his family, consumed by madness, now sought to possess the living, to draw them into the house's eternal torment. Sarah knew that she had to break the curse, to free Isaac and his family from their torment. She ventured back into the room where the spirits of the family were waiting. They whispered their torment, their sorrow, and their longing for release. With trembling hands, Sarah placed the cursed amulet on the floor and chanted the incantation she had uncovered in her research. The amulet glowed with an otherworldly light, and the spirits cried out in agony. It was a moment of reckoning, a moment of catharsis. As the amulet's light faded, the spirits of Isaac and his family appeared before her. Their eyes, once filled with torment, were now filled with gratitude. They reached out to Sarah, their cold fingers brushing against her skin, and then they were gone. With a shuddering breath, Sarah knew that the curse had been broken. The house was now free of its malevolent presence, and the spirits of Isaac and his family had found the release they had longed for. The following day, the villagers gathered to witness the destruction of Willow House, a place that had held their darkest fears for generations. As the house crumbled to the ground, a sense of relief washed over the village. Sarah knew that her journey was complete. She had uncovered the truth, broken the curse, and freed the tormented spirits. As she looked upon the ruins of Willow House, she felt a sense of closure, a sense of peace that she had longed for. The village of Moonlit Cove was finally free of the curse that had haunted it for centuries. The terrifying secrets of Willow House were now nothing more than a distant memory, fading into the mists of time. As we conclude our exploration into the world of the supernatural, remember that this is just the beginning of our journey. Supernatural Secrets has many more spine-tingling mysteries and uncharted realms to reveal. We invite you to stay with us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Your thoughts and suggestions are invaluable, so please leave them in the comments below. We eagerly await your input for future eerie tales. Until our next encounter, always remember that the supernatural beckons, and will be here to guide you through its mysteries. See you on the other side.